Alright, let's go ahead and install some matte finish paint protection film on the rear bumper of this Tesla Model 3. We're going to be bulking this one, and I'm going to start by tacking down in the center and then stretching the sides to get rid of some of these fingers here. Alright, so now we're going to stretch this corner down a little bit to help get rid of a little bit of this excess right there. I'm going to come down a little bit, and this mostly it's going to be stretching back towards the front of the car. And I'm going to stretch down a little bit to make sure we don't get any fingers coming across here. So you can see I prepped by putting rubbing alcohol or tack solution in there first. And that was just to make sure that once I got this stretched, I didn't have to reach for the bottle again. Okay. Now we've got this area down. It looks really good. We're going to go ahead and do the other side. You can see I kind of hold this in position with my knee. Then I'm going to go ahead and tack this area down here. And again, you can see that I prepped it by putting some tack solution on there before I stretched it. Okay, and then this part again, we're going to go towards the front of the car and down a little bit. And actually, when I do this, I was putting tack solution all in there. I don't want that. I only want to come to this line here, or body line, with the tack solution. Okay, and then these stretch lines here, we're going to be able to just go ahead and go down here a little bit and pull this direction to get rid of those a little bit to help with squeegeeing things out. Let's go ahead and start squeegeeing this out after we pop this section back up. Just make sure we don't have any pre-tacking here. Then we're going to go ahead and squeegee this out. I'm going to speed this up to 2 times speed. And then the thing I want to point out here is this recess. You know, I'm doing a lot of work to make sure and get all of the moisture out of that recess. Those little areas are pretty difficult. And I'm holding at the very end with my finger, and I'm putting a lot of pressure with my pointer finger there to get that film or that adhesive to tack down right there so that you don't continuously have the material popping up and then the moisture and the air traveling back up that recess. You can see here I'm basically just going to take majority of this slip solution from left to right. How's it going? I wanted to take just a second and ask you guys to leave me a little bit of feedback down in the comments section about the pace of this video. I want to make sure that these instructional videos are helpful, but I also don't want them to be really long, so I've been kind of speeding up and fast forwarding through some of the parts of the video, and I just want to know what you guys think about that. Am I moving too quickly, or is it a good pace? Alright, well thank you for watching the videos. Let's continue this one. Got a little pre-tacking here, so I'm going to go ahead and release that. That way when I go to squeegee out that slip solution on the top there, we're not going, it definitely is going to have a place to get out. Alright, then once I get all the way over to the right, I'm going to bring some of the moisture back to the left. We don't want to take that all the way out to the tire because we've already tack that edge with where the tire is with the tack solution. And again there you can see the same technique where I'm holding that with my finger. Alright, so let's go ahead and put a little stretch on this, and then we will squeegee this out. Alright, we're going to go ahead and trim some of this off, some of this excess, and then we're going to go ahead and release the material, or pull the material back on the quarter panel there, and we'll add some tack solution. And then we're going to go ahead and push the material into the crevice between the panel and the bumper. And what this will allow us to do is to get good full coverage on the bumper so you don't see the edge of the material. So we're going to tuck it way down in there. Then we'll let this dry a little bit, and then we'll come back and trim it off. Alright, so down here I'm going to use a press and hold or swipe and hold just to get this around the bottom edge. And then same things here. Swipe and hold. Alright, so spray some more tack solution up in here. Alright, and there is a little lip down here, so we want to go ahead and make sure that that tucks in there. A little slide chomp there. Make sure and get all the water out of that very edge. Alright, so before we head up to this part, I want to go ahead and get these trimmed. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stick this part down first, and then we'll move on to the marker lights. We're going to get a little tack solution in there. Alright, now we're going to wrap into the crevice there between the two panels. Alright, and then just to make sure that this isn't going to try and pop up at all, I'm going to wrap in there, and then I'm going to put just a little bit of stretch on this and tack this down. That'll just ensure that this edge doesn't try to pop up at all. Alright, and this is sticking up a little bit here. Give that a swipe and hold after some tack solution. good for now. All right, so what we're going to do here is trim this a little bit and then tuck everything in, and then we'll come back and do the final cut later. So this will go down and just go below this edge here, and then this needs to go up and tuck towards that marker. There's already a decent amount of tension on this, and trimming this is going to relieve a lot of that, but the thing that we want to stay aware of is that we want to do a circle or a turn at the end of this cut. We don't want to just cut a straight line and leave it, because this tension, when we go to push this in, this tension can potentially cause that to tear, and then you'll be starting over.
I didn't see it back there anymore.
All right, that's a pretty deep recess. So what I'm going to do is put a little relief cut right here. And I'm keeping it really high so that this material will be able to just barely wrap that edge, so that when you're standing up here, it's not something you're going to be able to see. Just trying to dry out a little bit of the tack solution there. So keep an eye on that. We'll put some heat on that and push it down. It'll be able to sink down or contour down into that without a problem. So let's get some tack solution in there. Basically, I trimmed right from this edge straight over. So we'll get this out first, or get this laid down first, get all the tack solution squeegeed out of there. And we'll wrap this top. Alright, and then we'll tuck this part in just a little bit, and we'll finish this part up later. Alright, we got that tucked in real good. Let's move on to the other marker light. So again, we're going to start right at this corner. Basically right where this body line sinks in, we're going to go to where it sinks in and then make our cut coming across, so that we're going to wrap underneath this top corner or edge just a little bit. Alright. Alright, get some tack solution in there, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this in. Go ahead and chomp this top edge down. Alright, let's move on to another part now. Alright, let's get all this trimmed and tucked in. Get some tack solution in there, and then we'll go ahead and start stretching this in. So I'm going to start in this area here and get this wrapped around. And trim this off right at this edge, or a little bit longer. As we wrap down into here, I'm only concerned with covering this side. I'm not so concerned with covering this back part, as you can't see it when the trunk is closed. All right, so this is just a little bit of warm water, which will help with stretch as well as make the film nice and tacky. Okay, go ahead and move over to the other side. All right, let's kind of work our way over there. Try that again with the camera rolling. All right, so go ahead and get some warm hot water in there. Warm hot water, yeah, that's what that is. We're gonna go get some warm water in there. I'll start down here and work my way up. All right, we'll go ahead and relieve a little tension here by trimming it up a little. Get a little bit more warm water in there. Let's see if we can get some video of, as far as some footage of trimming this and tucking the edges and things. All right, let's go ahead and trim this now down this side and around. So we've already tucked this in quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is just run the tip of my blade in there and cut it off like right in the middle. And then I will just do a slide chomp on this. All right, let's do the inside of this wheel well. All right, let's see if we can both work in this same space. It's gonna be tough. So we're gonna leave this just a little bit long for the first trim, and then we'll come back and give it another trim. All right, let me get the warm water. All right, so basically I'm gonna take and swipe and hold on the edge. All right, so right in here, you can see that it goes over the edge, and what I'm gonna do is just cut it right on the front here. All right, so we'll go ahead and trim this off. And on this, I'm gonna just go right back into this recess. There, we'll come out of the recess and then come across the bottom of the bumper. Go ahead and swipe this down one more time. All right, let's trim around this rear marker light. Since we already tucked that in a bit, we can just go ahead and stick the blade in there and trim in between the bumper and the light. Let's go ahead and make sure we've got all that stuck down. And we'll go ahead and get in between the bumper and the plastic piece, and we'll trim this out. All right, we'll go ahead and get the water out of the edges now. All right, let's take care of in here in the wheel well. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more tack solution right here, and we're gonna stretch this back that way. I lifted it up just a little bit so we can put a little more stretch on it. All right, so we're going over the edge there, just going over and doing a swipe and hold. That looks good. All right, so I'm gonna lift this back off of the fender or quarter panel. I wanna get this tucked into that recess just a little bit more, into that body seam. All right. All right, now that's tucked in there, we'll go ahead and get a little blade out there and trim it off in between the two panels. And then I'll swipe across all this just to make sure that it's tucked down for now. And we will be coming back with some heat on this. Let's go ahead and get this top part here in the taillight area. All right, so there is a seam in the bumper right there, so we're gonna come from over here and go right across that seam and over, and basically just kind of follow that seam. That way we don't have a whole bunch of material hanging over the edge. And we'll come across, and I'll end right about there for now. Okay. So I'm gonna lay this kind of down here and then trim over to this corner. It's not that tacky. Let me get some more tack solution in there. We'll go ahead and lay this down. We do have a little bit of extra hanging over right here. I'm gonna just leave it there because the taillight's gonna cover that. You could also just, well, let's just do it a different way too. So I would just leave it like that really, but another way to take care of it is to go ahead and cut it off. And then we'll go ahead and put some heat on that before we put the taillight back in. I mean, we're gonna heat seal all the edges, so that'll just get heat sealed as well and look great. Okay, so as far as in this area, we just came down right here and met up with this edge and went right along that edge all the way across. All right, well, thanks for taking a look. If you found that helpful, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.